All right, guys, welcome back to TD Fins Talk. As promised, on Wednesday, subscriber Q&A. I got all your questions, about 45 different comments on the post. I got all your questions. My goal is to answer as many as possible, hopefully all of them. Guys, all my subscribers, please forgive me about yesterday. I had to take care of my sons, dealing with their football team and stuff yesterday, so I got really caught up. But I'm here today to give you this video. I hope you enjoy it, guys. I didn't get to see all the questions. I saw, but I scrolled through a few, and there are really some good questions that I really want to answer. I'm actually excited about answering, especially for the future of our team, guys. Guys, we can look up to some bright days coming up, guys, and I'll explain why in just a moment. But here we go. Let's dive right in. We're gonna start with Travis Dolphins. That's my boy. He's been following me since I just about started it, guys. He says, I know the answer to my question, LOL, okay, but I want to hear it from you. Will we win our division? Absolutely. Absolutely, we're going to win the division. I think everybody gets scared at the fact that we got, and I'll be honest, we got killed on Sunday. They're forgetting the fact that we're 3-1. We own the division right now, okay? There's a lot of football left to play, yes, but the schedules don't get that much easier for the Patriots. It doesn't get that much easier, guys. They still got to play the Bengals, the 3-1 Bengals. They still have to play the 3-1 Chicago Bears. Okay? They've already played the week Houston. They already played 1-3 Houston. You see what I mean? And they lost to a tough game already in Jacksonville. So our schedule is easier than theirs to come. Look at the Titans. Everybody, we beat the Titans. Titans beat the Jags. Jags beat the Patriots. And the Patriots still got to play the Titans. I believe so. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong on that. But the schedule gets easier for us than them. That's first and foremost. Second off, just get the loss behind you. Everybody suffers them. Everybody suffers them, guys. There's teams that get blown out by 30 one week. In the next week, how are they beating the best team in the league and blowing them out? This is how any given Sunday, guys. But I think the Dolphin Nation feels like the sky is falling because of what happened. Come on, y'all. Y'all, come on. Listen, somebody actually gave a post the other day. It's never as good as it seems. And it's also as bad as it seems. Whatever. It was something like that, but it was spot on, guys. It was spot on, all right? Well, that's what it was. It's never as good as it seems and never as bad as it seems, pretty much. So that was pretty cool. Hold on one moment, guys. I think I got receive. Okay. Thank you. Sorry, guys. Somebody just sent me something important. All right, cool. I got it though. All right. So, guys, let's dive right in. I already dived in, but as far as winning the division, guys, come on. Get off of that. And Travis already know that, by the way. All right, XL Rivera. Thanks, Travis. XL Rivera, TD Fins Talk. Do you think there is a player you want to trade for? And if who, sorry, it's a glare on the screen. And if who, what do we have to give up? There isn't a specific player I want to trade for because there's so many in the league. I mean, I could be going on for hours about, oh, I would love to trade for him. I would love to trade for them. Oh, to fill that center spot, to fill that tackle, to fill that defensive. Of course. You know, I could just go straight to the big names in the league and say those people. But we got to leave this one up to the front office, guys. You'll be surprised who they bring in. Just like with the center situation, you know, they didn't go get the best of the best, but we're going to talk about that in a moment because I know it's going to come up. And if not, we're probably going to talk about it anyway. But as far as a trade, any trade that we do, we have to leave that up to the front office. They need to go find value. It's not about a specific name. That's why we probably don't even know the name of the people that they may bring in, because it's not about the specific name. First off, teams aren't going to come up off of big names. All right, at this point, unless they have an expiring contract that they want to shed a year earlier or something like that, but it's not likely. So you have to find value. That value, like who has the best center in the league, or just look at all the teams. Like, look at our situation. We have great DNs, and when Cam Wake go out, his replacement is still good. You know, so you got to find a center on a team who's there, the replacement is still good. Okay? That's the type of stuff you have to do. And then the only thing I would give up is draft picks. Nothing below a third. I mean, nothing above a third. No first, no second, no thirds. A fourth and fifth rounders. 6 rounders, 7 rounders. You know, package up, you know. A 6th and a 7th. Something like that. But that's all I would give up. There isn't a specific person I'll give up. I think I'm just going to get off that Devontae Parker trade. Guys, first and foremost, it's not even about trading Devontae Parker. Because you also have to ask, is he tradable? Let's be honest. The injuries, we thought he was going. And he didn't go again. Oh my gosh. Like, what are we to do, guys? So let's get off of the trade. Let's take Devontae Parker off the trade block. Because it's embarrassing to have him on at this point. And let's hope he gets his health together and play well for us. Okay? So Devontae is not a part of a trade, guys. Let's just get that out the way now. And that's all I'll give up. Draft picks, late draft picks. And because look at what we gave away Landry and Ajayi, those guys for, you know? Quick 4th rounders and stuff like that. That's what you get these days. You know, you can get you can get a really good player for a 4th round pick, you know? It's crazy. Teams just want to get rid of those salaries. But thanks for asking Axel Rivera. What else? Okay, hell yeah, brother, go Fins. Let's see. Is Wesley Johnson gonna be a starting center? Whoa. I was gonna talk about this in another video, but why not? Let's talk about it now. Wesley Johnson. Listen, guys. I think everybody, because he was. Wait, Wesley Johnson is. Isn't that the center from was it the Jets? I think he just came from the Jets, if I'm not mistaken. But what you have to realize is this, okay? The problem is he started in Detroit, guys. Wesley Johnson started in Detroit. Let me give you a little background history of Wesley Johnson. Let me see if I pull this up, make sure I have it. All right, yeah. So Wesley Johnson was drafted by the Detroit Lions in 2014. Only 4 years ago, guys. Only 4. Okay? Now, he was the 3rd round 76th pick. All right? Here's the beautiful thing that I love about the pickup of Johnson, and this is what I call the front office getting value, okay? Here's what I love about it. I love the simple fact that he actually started 42 out of the 53 games that he played. He has starter experience. Detroit brought him in as a starter, okay? For some reason, he didn't survive in Detroit after those 3 years, but he started. But that was coming off his rookie contract. But if you're going to start as a 3rd rounder for 3 years, pretty much, that's pretty much what it is, 42 starts. Yeah, that's about 3 years' worth. Out of 53, how many games would that be? 16, that's 36, 12, 18. That's 48 games. So he spent a little bit longer of a stint in Detroit than the 3 years. Just a little bit longer. But he started 42 games, guys. That's good experience for a young player who's looking to say, hey, I was a 3rd round pick. I started for 3 years. I made my mark. And then I'm no longer in Detroit. I'm with the Jets on their squad. I don't make the team. He didn't make the team, from my understanding. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. And this is my opportunity to show something, okay? Will he start? I'm not sure about that because we still have Travis Swanson. Travis Swanson, yeah. We still got Travis. So it's one of those things where either way the move goes, if they promote Travis up and he takes that starting role, then Wesley will be a good backup. Or will he compete and say, hey, this is my position, I'm earning it. So that's a good little caveat there where they have, and Tannehill said it earlier, you know, they got work to do, him and Travis, throughout the off week to get familiar with each other. That gives me an indication Travis is actually starting, but the Wesley Johnson pickup is good for depth just in case Travis gets hurt. Or if Travis isn't panning out and Wesley Johnson kicking his behind in practice, you know, Gase will make that move. So it's a good, I think they're both two good options. Are they the center that we just replaced? No, but they're not far off, guys. And they have that drive. They're young. They have that drive. They want to remain in this league. If Wesley comes in bumming it up, you know, that might be it for him in the NFL. That's what you got to consider. You go from being a 3-year starter to the Jets, and don't make the team. They cut you, and now the Dolphins are bringing you in. He understands. All marbles are on the board. You know, this NFL can get tough. It can get gruesome, guys. So, Wesley Johnson, this is good for Travis because that might bring a healthy competition. And all we need, I'll tell y'all, I always give y'all my scale of 1 to 10. All we need is 7.5 guys to get the job done. And I think both of these guys had a potential to peak at an 8. You know, I think their peak, they have 8 peak, okay? So if we get the most out of them, huge move by the front office and smart move not to pull a trigger on a big name. So the big names come after about 3 more games possibly, and it is just trash and it ain't working out. Then you try to make a splash. You see, that's where you meet a crossword. Do we make a splash and go after it? Hey, we got to win, so let's go get somebody. Or do at that point they dial it in just a abysmal 3 weeks and say, all right, we need to start preparing for the future. That's the reality that we're in. It's tough, too, for the Miami Dolphins. Why are we the team that has to be in that? If we go 4-4, if we go 1-3 in the next 4 games, right? And that means we're 4-4. It's sad that our team has to look at our roster because we don't have so many injuries. And at 4-4, we have to say, all right, maybe we need to dial it in and just prepare for the future. That sucks to even, because you know how many teams are 4-4, like, hey, we still here, we gonna make it. That sucks that all the injuries we've had, it's almost like the smartest thing to do would be dialing it in. You know? Because if you're going for the ultimate goal of winning a Super Bowl, see, that's another thing of the culture. A lot of Dolphin fans are all about winning, making the playoffs. Guys, you want to build a team to go to the Super Bowl, not make the playoffs. That's cutting yourself short. That's why the goal to get there is so hard. Because we accept the 6.5s of the world and stuff. No, we have to have aspirations for the Super Bowl, and the moves we are making are Super Bowl moves, not making the playoff moves. That's automatically putting yourself so far behind on the 8 ball. And it's actually embarrassing, to be quite honest with you. To be a Dolphin fan, that's embarrassing to even have that even said, you know. But let's move along, guys. I don't want to belabor the point on that. Probably already did. All right, David Lynchen. Is Gase the modern day Captain Ahab who famously chased Moby Dick? The analogy with Moby Dick and Gase' version of his offense. The chase is usually the fun factor, or it can be obsessive, or it can ruin you. An obsession, one's demise. Okay, at the end of the day, will Gase' vision fail due to his inability to realize Tannehill, although a solid athlete, just isn't able to dissect defenses with empty sets, backfield like Gase envisions? Man, that is a long question, but it is an amazing, beautiful question. I love that question, okay? There's a lot to talk about in that question. Man, I might have to make 2 videos, so I'm just going to keep going, guys. But there's a lot to talk about in that question. I actually want to answer it because that's very insightful. You use an analogy on it and everything, and it makes perfect sense, okay? Now, first and foremost, to answer your question, let's think about Adam Gase for a second, okay? Adam Gase, there is no question at this point, if you're a Dolphins fan, you should already realize that our coach, Adam Gase, wants control, wants the ultimate control, wants the ultimate say. He's that personality, and if I'm wrong, this is what, let me say, this is what I'm getting out of Adam Gase. Let me, instead of just saying this is him, just in case I'm wrong, you know. But he wants control. He wants to, and I'm gonna be honest, he's kind of like me. Let me tell you why, okay? If you have an art in front of you, the team, right, and you got a piece of art in front of you, and you're trying to make the best art in the class, so be the best coach to get your team to the Super Bowl, right? You're trying to make the best art in the class, but you got to work in a group with 2 other people. or 3 or 4 other people, right? In your mind, some people in their mind automatically, doesn't mean they can't work well with others at all. And people give them that, when I say this, people will give them a perception of that. But in their mind, I have the best plan. Period. Nobody can beat their plan. They know it. See, some people will look at it as, oh, well, he's confident. He thinks he has the best plan. He doesn't know if he does, but I like his confidence. But in his head, he's not looking at it as, I'm being confident because it helps me. No, he really knows I have the best plan to win it all, period. But in order for this vision to take place, everybody has to do their job, okay? Now, if everybody does their job, the coaches do their job, all the other coaches, coaching other players up, knowing how to do it and everything. If the players execute the game plan that Adam Gase is giving them to the T, we talk about perfection here. This is what the Patriots work on, nothing but the details. They are so beyond what is the play. It's about the details. If everybody execute the details, precision, what the training has taught you, and execute it. If this player does this, your job is to do that. And you execute the game. Forget the physical aspect of the game. Just like in basketball, they say players like LeBron and Rondo have the best IQs in the game. Forget the physical stature. What makes them even greater is the mental capacity that they have of the game, and they translate that into their physical, and it makes the physical easier too. You can even be undersized in some situations, but if your brain, if you know how to play football, if you're doing your job the way that we are training you to the T, not because you see this man and if he give it to him, I can make a superstar tackle, so when they hike this ball, I'm gonna still do my job, but I'm gonna watch him a little. No, the play call for you to go all out towards that quarterback. But that little sway gave the quarterback just enough time to get the touchdown or the first down. Because you didn't do your job. You wanted to be on a swivel when that ain't your job. We got somebody on man on him or something like that. Do you see what I'm saying, guys? So attention to detail, doing your job is not about you being a superstar, any of that stuff. Do your job. If everybody does their job, we will win 100% guaranteed. That's what's in his head, and I get that. That's how I'm typically like that in life. I know what needs to be done. If everybody executes the way, because I coach as well, if everybody executes the way in this situation, that situation, it is impossible for us to lose. Impossible for us to lose. So what happens is after a Sunday, we lose a game, and people say, oh, Adam Gase this, oh, Adam Gase that, but you're not in that locker room. You're not in that locker room on Wednesday when they come back, or Tuesday, whatever day it is. I think it's Wednesday. You're not in the locker room when they're saying, look at this sack. You didn't execute your job, offensive lineman. Look, the person used an outside technique on you, but your stance was in an inside technique. You see what I'm saying? You're not in that locker room. And then, hey, Tannehill, look, I understand you went through your progressions and you didn't read it. But you have to be sound enough to know that your back just flared out and he is wide open, everybody's back turned. If you can just see him with that last second you have, instead of trying to make the throw, and just make sure that you have that peripheral going as well, that extra step to the game, those are the difference makers. Are you executing that? We're not in the locker room when, hey, who is it? TJ McDonald. What is your job when a corner shift? I mean, a wide receiver, the slot receiver shifts over. Well, I'm supposed to come downhill in this defensive stand. Then why are you still back there? Maybe the answer is I didn't notice some shift, or I was communicating with Rashad Jones. Whatever it is, that's the attention to detail that I know Gase's personality, what's happening in that locker room. We just got our behind kicked 38-7, and I got a sheet of 60 things that wasn't executed just from a technique standpoint throughout the entire game that if we executed, wouldn't even been close. That's what's happening in that locker room. So I understand when we say the Moby Dick analogy of chasing, you know, that obsession, but we can't judge it until everybody's executing the expectations. So as a coach, we have to evaluate, are they executing his expectations? Because if they're executing them, then whose fault is it? The coach's fault. But a coach can only teach and get his players in the right position and tell them what they're supposed to do. But let's call it what it is. There are a lot of players on the football team. Is everybody doing their job right? Everybody's not doing their job right. It's not happening. Some people are missing on this. Some people are missing on that. You can see it from discipline plays as simple as encroachment on the defense. Do you know how basic and disciplined that is? When do you move? When the ball moves. The greatest players aren't even listening to snap count. The greatest players aren't trying to see. As soon as that offensive lineman moves his leg, he goes. Why do you think the greatest players get off before the offensive lineman? Because they are watching the ball, not what anyone is saying. Who cares? I don't care nothing. Disciplined players, I don't care nothing about that. I'm watching that ball. Look at the small little encroachment on the defense, going uninvaded by the defense that we've had. Think about it. These are execution. You can't blame Gase on that. He's coaching that stuff, but it's up to the players to execute it. When they get to a point where they're executing it, then we can judge Gase. I can tell you this now. We as fans, it's hard for us to know what he's working on in practice. Is he working on, are you executing this technique? The guy released outside, that means you had an option of going inside. You see, are you doing, we can't see that part. But the players know. The players know. But we have to realize and assume that he's doing that and waiting on the players to arrive. We're improving every day. That's what I hear him say. And it makes sense. We're getting better every day. I hear that too. It makes sense. Tannehill, well, our goal is just to improve every day. That's what it's about. These guys already know how to play football. It ain't about them going out on the field and just using their athleticism. The game is played on a scale mentally. The game is played on, okay, he's shifting. That's why you think some great defense you see. When the slot receivers shift to the other side, you see safeties calling stuff. Linebackers tapping defensive linemen on the hip. This is what I see. That means it's an outside zone. We're switching to this. Let me let you know. You see what I'm saying? Those are the real defenses. The real offenses. The quarterbacks. And that's what I want to see take to that next level also with Tannehill, is looking at the defense. They just switch up in this, and he know, hey, I know a play that's gonna beat this. But that is where the Adam Gase situation and Tannehill situation, that is the only piece that no one talks about that I have a see, it's not fact, so I have an opinion on it. I'm personally starting to feel like Adam Gase doesn't even let Ryan Tannehill audible much. I gave you the play. Play the play that I give you. See, that's where the control that Adam Gase wants over the team, you have to have that control, but in certain areas you can't do that. All right? There's certain areas where you need to let your quarterback, give him the structure, are you executing X, Y, and Z, but give him the power to change. He has to take his mind to the next level too, so we can make offense easy. Because we barely audible, guys, do we? We barely ever audible. It doesn't matter what they're in, we got our play. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Maybe on a rare occasions, if it looks like they're bringing 7, they may say something. And you know what? And you know what? Man, this is opening my mind right now talking about this, because you know I love Tannehill. I think Tannehill is very accurate, precise, but Tannehill's growth, I'm wondering, have they stopped his growth for the simple fact that, oh, he's back from injury, he's getting used to the offense, we're just working on reps with him. Are they still working with him like they were 2 years ago? Are they still trying to improve his growth as well? Because Tannehill has more in him. What we love about Tannehill right now is, and I don't care what the haters say, Tannehill is very accurate. Don't care what you say, okay? Yeah, it may be a rare occasion of the ball was overthrown by 2 feet. That's any quarterback. Brady did it like 7 times in our game. But we want to point out Tannehill's and make them like they're glaring. His happened less than Brady's. I would even go out on a limb to say. But are they stopping his progression? Are they, forget the if you see this, see that. Is he in play calling school? Like, I see this defense, let me switch out of this into this. But not only that, if the defense, the only rare times I see us audible is if the defense are looks like they're sending 6, okay? They're all on the line, they're coming. And that's the only time I see Tannehill audible. But the scary thing about that is the only thing he audibles to is like something short or slant. Like in there, it's right in there, quick pass, quick in, you know? So it's like, is that way? It's like, is it elementary for Gase and them to be showing them, hey, if they look like in their blitz, just go into this or go into that? Like 2 basic plays. And then New England, hut, and then they back out, and then we got a pick. Those are some of the things that was happening in his young career. One moment, guys. Those are some of the things that was happening in his young career that a lot of people overlook on some of those interceptions. So in all honesty, I am worried about that piece, though. I'm worried if they're still having him grow as a quarterback, the audibles, the whole 9 yards, guys. This is the type of stuff that I don't know at this point, but there's a lot of information coming out and a lot of signs that lead me to believe certain things, especially with Adam Gase's personality. Like I'm saying, to me, he's a controller, but he knows he has the right game plan to get it all done. He's just waiting on everyone to execute. But is he too much of a controller to where he's saying, I call my play, and I'm not letting, and Tannehill, I need you to execute my play. I know you audibled into this, but do the plays I call. You know, so that's what I want to know, guys. But I know I'm being a dead horse. Let me move on. But also, you stated that at the end of the day, while Gase's vision failed, at the end of the day, will Gase's vision fail due to his inability to realize Tannehill, although a solid athlete, just isn't able to dissect defenses with empty sets, backfields like Gase envisions? Well, I kind of agree, but do agree. I disagree because I think Tannehill can. Because anything, let me help you understand something. Anything can be taught if it's not physical. Anything can be taught because people have physical limitations, okay, if it's not physical. Tannehill has the physical ability. Tannehill has the throwing ability. Tannehill does have the accuracy. Tannehill has the arm. Tannehill has the awareness. He's a smart young man, okay? Dissecting defenses is taught. Yeah, some people are greater than others and they just have a knack, but dissecting defenses is taught. They're in this set. This guy is, based off of watching film, he's stunting. So I know they're not doing that, even though it looks like it's in that set. It's so much. I know, but here's the thing, it's so much information. All the different teams, all the different ways they like to disguise things, this and that. But why you think Brady, you know, in his, what was the show called Brady made? Whatever the show is, Brady, the Facebook thing or whatever. Time versus Time or something like that. What you think he's doing most of the time? Watching freaking film. Watching freaking film. Is the coaches talking to Tannehill, hey, this is the next level? I know it's a, hey, watch film too. It'll help dissect this game. No, just in his life, making it his life. Is anybody mentoring him to do that type of stuff? Or are they looking at it as, oh, you know, he's a solid, decent enough quarterback to where we'll be good, where actually it's above average. Okay, it's above average. But are they helping our quarterback continue to grow to that point? So that's the first point on that as far as dissecting defenses. That can be taught. It's not that Tannehill can't do it. I know it's lazy to say, you know, he is what he is. For the coach, that's lazy. But for us as fans, that's lazy of us of not calling for, hey, is this happening? Is this happening? You know, and a fan base makes a team. Is the fan base all in the media and an uproar talking about this type of stuff? Are we coaching to this? Tannenbaum should know that. Tannenbaum is and Greer, they're Gase's boss. So I don't believe in just letting the coach go do his. If he ain't working out, we fire him. That's a weak general manager. That's weak. That would be weak of Tannenbaum and Greer. They should be in practices, watching how he's coaching, giving their expertise, and that's part of the problem too. Are many GMs, do general managers have expertise in football to know if a coach is coaching appropriately? Forget the I'm a coach's coach, I'm a player's coach. Forget the relationships. That's something you hire in a coach to say, oh, he has a great relationship. He can build relationships. He can rally the troops. That's all good. But when it comes to X's and O's and who's doing this right, who's doing that right, the general manager should be out there on the field, here and there, doing check-ins twice a week or something. Okay, we're struggling in this. Calling Adam Gase in the meetings. We're struggling in this. What have you done to address it? What are you doing? What do you need from us? But what are you doing to maximize what we've already given you? You know, football is bigger. It's so big, guys. You have to have a world-class organization to win. I hate the Patriots, but let's be honest. That organization, that's why you don't hear much about it. They're shut tight. I give it up to their organization. You think it's just them players? Oh, man, y'all don't understand. That's why Belichick is the GM and the coach. Because he's just like one of those Gates personalities. Do it exactly how I say, and we're going to win no matter what. But he has that knack to let the quarterback, I trust him enough to do everything he needs to do offensively. Take those chances, X, Y, and Z. If he messes them up, we'll work on it. We'll coach him up on it. So you crazy if you don't think they be coaching Brady up. They still Brady kicks back sometimes, argues, but they coach. They coach regardless. That's a fact. It's a trickle effect down. That's why Belichick is the GM. That's what's his condition. That's why you think he's the GM and the coach. Because if you got a sorry GM, you can't expect much of your coach. You know how many coaches them been fired, but they just got a sorry GM? Everybody's supposed to be improving on every level. Nobody talk about are the coaches getting better. And I know I'm going on a rant, but I'm gonna keep going because this is real talk. This is how organizations work and what's happening with ours. Nobody's coaching the coaches. They say, well, that's the head coach's job to coach the coaches. You're right, but who's coaching the head coach? And it ain't about telling him how to run his game plan. You're just questioning everything he do and making sure that he has a logical reasoning and an explanation and a game plan, an action plan in place. How are we going to do this? Do we need to go find somebody, or what the talent that we have here as backups? What is their peak for us to develop them to? What do we need to develop them? What type of drills do they need to improve on? It's everything. It's everything. Is the general manager making sure the coach is running his team that way? Or is it just, here's our plays, offensive coordinators, get in they behind, make sure they executing this to a basic level of just coaching? Come on. Look, man, you just got beat by your guy. No, your inside technique was sloppy. Let's go. Today in practice, we need you to work on nothing but your inside technique. I'm going to put a defender from the practice squad over there with you. And what they're going to do, they're going to give you different looks. Maybe it's not for your inside technique. But we're going to give you something that was outside since you think we're working on inside only. Mix it up. Make you have to think and really practice. Our organization's doing this type of stuff. People forget about the details. As fans, we just sit back and cheer the finished product. But we need to stop criticizing, and not to you, David. It's not you criticizing because you got a good point. This is how they make you feel. But overall, as a fan base, we got to stop criticizing what we have and criticize why we have it. What could we do to get better? That's real coaching. That's real general manager work. And now you're creating a world-class organization, and guess what? Your players aren't getting in trouble because they see the attention to detail. It matures them a lot faster. They're about their business. They're going home to their families. They're not out here doing this, doing that. They focus on their craft. They realize they can make this a long career for themselves. Somebody nobody even knew about, but I'm going to make this a long career because I worked on my craft. The best players, I watch J.J. Watt all the time. Sometimes I'll just pull up his highlights just from years and years. He literally knows how to play the D-line, every position on the D-line. Yes, he's a freak of nature, but his freak of nature isn't what's getting him to the quarterback at will. I mean, I'm seeing this guy do a move and hey, the offensive lineman took that step. He knows that a swim right here is nothing they can do. They're already off balance by coming this way, so, and the way their body is turned, I can get that swim. Easy. A second and a half, I'm in the quarterback's face. 1, 2, just, I'm coming. Those type of things, they know their craft. But look how many, go look at film, guys, of a defensive line. Even on our Dolphin team sometimes. How many guys just said, what? They're coming up and the first thing come up is their hands. That's crazy. It's crazy that the first thing that come up is their hands versus their eyes. To see if they even need to use their hands, or to see if one hand needs to stay down. The greatest are lifting up and looking first. They're looking and they're starting their hands, but then they get to rotate in whatever they need to be in. Those are this technique, football technique. Our teams coaching that, many don't. That's why you have your set of elite teams and your set of non-elite teams. And in the draft, you're hoping in the draft you can go find the players who already have these techniques, because these college coaches putting in work. Even some high school coaches putting in work, teaching their guys technique. Why you think they always refer, even players, you know, back in my high school days, one of my best coaches, because that coach gave them the knowledge of saying, man, this sport is actually more than me just playing. It's something to be learned at an early age, man. But they're not doing that in the NFL. They getting this money, y'all. These coaching staffs, they're bringing their friends and their buddies on. Look how much each one making a year. This one making, you know, over 100,000. That one, guys, this is what's happening. And so real organizations have general managers that's getting into all of that. They're all in the team. They're even talking to players. Give me your feel on this. How did you feel whenever this play was called? Hey, who cares if I'm up in your business and talking to your players? That's my job to be. You either going to be a winning product or you're not. Is Tannenbaum and Greer those type of GMs that's all in the business of the team? Or do they feel like, I got the coach that I need, go do your job, and they're sitting in the office, who can we bring in for them? That's basic. I don't know what level to talk about, guys. We don't know if these things are happening, but these are the things you got to think about. These are the things you got to think about. I know I'm going deep into this, but nobody thinks about this part of the game. Nobody does. They just worry about the finished product, and they call players suck or good. You either suck or you're good. And they talk about them. Oh, this person just sucks as usual. They can't never do this. Oh, this person, guys, don't never blame the player. They're giving you everything they got. And some of y'all will be like, oh, well, if that's all they got, then they suck. No, it ain't about that. If that's all they got, then our coaches suck for having them on the roster then. Or that's the best there is out there. I mean, you got to think about it. If that's all they have, do the coaches think that they got more in them? Are the coaches working hard to bring that out of them? That's what it is about. Real coaching. And a real GM that's in that coach, making sure that the coach should be on the hot seat the day he's hired. That's a real organization. The day he's hired, he should be on the hot seat. Are you coming in? Are you rallying the troops? That's first and foremost. Are you, after you rallying the troops, are you getting them to execute your game plan? Because we hired your game plan. We believe in you and your game plan. We believe that you can deliver the plan that you laid out to us in the interview. That's what we hired you for. Are you living up to that? That's falling short of what you said that you would do. Let us know. Tell us why. So, and then they're putting the action plans on the coaches. Well, I need this to improve by week 8. It's week 4 now, so you have 4 weeks. I'm not even being lofty. Your offense is giving up 250 rushing yards a game, right? I'm not even going to be crazy. The average in the league is 150. I'm not going to be too aggressive. I want you to go down from 250 to 220. Oh, that still sucks. Yeah, but it shows me that if you work on something, you know how to move the number to make it better. And we're going to keep heading in that direction. You got 4 weeks. If you don't do it in 4 weeks, it doesn't mean fire them, but you're telling me something as a coach, that you can't get this done. Yeah, but I need the players. That's what we asked you the first week. Is it the players? Because you picked those players. You helped us pick them. Is it the players, or is it your inability to move the number? You see what I'm saying? That's real organization stuff, guys. Real organization stuff. Everybody's so caught up in the past of having this legendary coach and stuff, and they just know it all. They're not built like they used to be. And the league isn't how it used to be. It's a lot more money and people not willing to kill themselves. You know, they get a big contract. They ain't trying to kill themselves. It is what it is. But back then, people were trying to kill themselves for the victory. This is a different league. It's more entertainment than competition now. So the organizations have to adjust. You can't just go find that coach that you feel gonna get it all done and don't even question nothing they're doing. Only time you question them is whenever you done had 4 terrible losing seasons. Now they're talking about the general manager need to go. Oh, what's going on? Well, and then the general manager fires the coach midfield to make a stance, and then half the fans that said it was the coach's fault, they feel so good. Good. I'm glad that he fired. I'm glad that this GM fired the coach. He was losing the game for us. Now it look like the GM doing their job. They out of the hot seat. No, man. It's crazy. You weren't doing your job the entire time, helping that coach be better by keeping him on his game. Why don't you have this? So everything now that's going to make the coach get into all this other coaches. No, and treat them that way. If he's not improved by this date, I'm holding you responsible, because that means I got to go use an asset to get somebody else later than if you would have told me the truth 3 weeks ago that he ain't going to work out. You told me he has a ceiling of 8. And he's a 6 right now, and I'm asking you to get him to at least a 6.7, and he's not giving me that. So is it you as a coach not moving him, or is it the player? Is it the player? Come on, let me know. And if it's the player, then you need to improve, because you got me wasting time. I knew that 3 weeks ago. But you say you could have moved him up. You see, accountability. And then actions. Too many of these, then you don't need to be the receivers coach. I'm bringing in another one. We're letting you go today. When do you hear people on the coaching staff getting fired mid-season? That's where it should be happening. You're not moving the number. You're not improving this person. If it was the player, then I told you to tell me that, because now I know what we're dealing with and I can tell my GM. So they can get on me to say, I don't care, make him better anyway. Then, hey, you have security because it's coming. I let them know. So it's coming down. But you're not telling me it's the player. You're telling me you can improve them or whatever. They have an upside, this and that, but you ain't getting it out of them. Then at the end of the year, they sit in the office. Yeah, this player didn't turn out to be what we thought he would be. I don't think we need to keep him for next year, especially with that salary. And they let him go. It wasn't the player. If it was the player, then the coach would never say they could have got him there. The coaches know this stuff. If they can move somebody somewhere, if that's their best, you know this stuff. You do. Man, I know I'm going on, guys, but because I think about this stuff, the inner workings of the front office. It's bigger than just on that field, guys. And I love that question, David, because it led me into a lot of that. But that's my theory on all of that. That's my theory on all of that. There's somewhere we got a crack in that whole system of what I was outlining. Somewhere we got somebody not doing their job. And yeah, jobs aren't being done on the field as well, but I think somewhere somebody's not pushing people to the next level. Because if your quarterback isn't getting pushed to the next level, but you're giving him the, hey, he's our quarterback, I believe in him, and I know he ain't. Because I do. I'm in agreement. So it's making me think it's another factor. And not saying Tannehill's actually played well. If you take the Patriots game away, and you can do that with any quarterback, take one game away, I mean, come on, guys. I mean, I think people being unfair on why they say Tannehill ain't the guy. He is. I mean, you don't get much better. That's the crazy thing. If you look at the league, you don't get much better. And I'm not saying that as a downgrade because I think he's a much greater than y'all make it seem. But I'm going down to what y'all make it seem. It don't get much better than what y'all make it seem he is. That's what kills me. It doesn't. It's like it's the lottery. Look how many people bring in quarterbacks. Oh, he's the future. Man, watch Sam Darnold in the next few years. I don't believe it anymore. I don't believe it anymore. He's a give and take guy. And yeah, well, this is his first year. He'll improve with the turnovers and all. I don't believe it. I don't believe it, guys. But this is my point. You don't get much better. So I think y'all give him an unfair shake as far as Tannehill. He's the quarterback we need. I just think that when we look at the tape, if everybody executes, see, and that's another thing. I know I keep going, but guys, that's another thing. We talk about Tannehill. We talk about what he didn't do in a game. Downside hut, the receiver was offsides. Downside hut, the receiver ran too shallow knowing that they should run like this. Or downside hut, oh, the offensive lineman didn't block like for Gore to go through that area. He pulled, but he didn't find his man. Whatever it may be. I think we forget about how many mistakes everybody on the team makes. Nobody's mistake-free. Even our best defensive linemen, they make mistakes. They're getting penalties on them. Or missing assignments or this and that. Everybody does, but it's amplified when the quarterback does. One of his mistakes seems like the equivalence of 10 of someone else's. If Kiko made 10 mistakes, one Tannehill interception in a tight game is the equivalence of Kiko's 10 bonehead plays that cause touchdowns. I'm telling you, that's the equivalence. And that's unfair. But that's the world we live in, guys. But that's why I look through football for what it is and not the way everybody just sees it in a cloud from being on TV. I look at the entire organization. To win it all, you have to have a winning organization. And sometimes luck and momentum and just crunkness can push you over the top. But to sustain a great franchise, a great organization, you got to have a great organization all the way from the top to the bottom. And I'll close on this. That's even with the top guy and the owner coming down on the general manager here and there. He should be talking to them once a week, having a meeting. All right, so tell me about this week. Give me the game summary. Tell me what you thought as a general manager and who's being evaluated and why. Not the players. We're talking about the coaching staff. You see what I'm saying? It's levels to it. And this is what it's about. Do we have that organization? This video is beyond long, guys. I mean, I know I went on a rant, but I wanted to talk about that. I'm going to stop this video right here. And right when I stop it, I'm going to get into making another one to continue with the questions. That was just huge because it brought me into a whole new world with the Dolphins, what a lot of people don't think about. That I think about the whole organization as a whole. Much more deeper than football itself, guys. Much more deeper than just lacing them up on Sunday. I know that's a finished product, but it's much deeper than that. But guys, let me go ahead and end this video, and then I'm gonna start a brand new one. Give you more content anyway, guys. You can go ahead and vibe to this one, and then look out for the second one. A few hours later, it'll come out, guys. But thank you for tuning in to TD Fans Talk. Man, David, great question, man. But peace, guys. I'll see y'all in a second.